Hi everyone, I am excited today to show you my completed copy of Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. Now I haven't coloured the cover. I don't normally colour covers of books at all, and it's actually a little bit grubby, which is part of the reason why I don't do that. But also I don't like the paper very much for colouring on. However, I did colour the inside cover, so let's open up and have a look. Just before I do, please click subscribe if you haven't already. Right, let's go. Okay, so the inside of the cover, as I say, I find them really difficult to colour on the paper that's there. So I used some glitter pens for this and just did lots of random colours. I have the Castle Arts glitter pens, and I was just using them up before they dry out because I've had them for quite some time, and it just felt like a sort of interesting little way to use them up, really. Make some shiny keys. Now this page, I'm just trying to get it in the middle. There we go. This page was the very first one I did. I'm pretty sure that I used Staedtler Ergosoft pencils. My hands are all covered in glitter now, and this page has got quite a lot on. It transfers across. I think I coloured this when I did my initial flip through of the book when it was new, so there'll be a video of some of this. I probably just did a little section. I can't really remember, to be honest, but that's the and there's a little bit of gold pen there, metallic, just to create some shine around this key and lock, but not the other keys. Now this one I did with Prismacolor, and I posted it on my social medias, and people were really keen to know how to do it. So later I did a tutorial using exactly the same technique, which you can also find. Actually, I think it might have been this one that I did when I did my flip through, and look, I missed a couple of stars. Huh. But this is also Ergosofts, I think. But yeah, I missed those two. What are the outside ones done in? Pencil. I don't have any pencils in here at the moment. Well, that's a big lie. I do, but not coloured pencils. I have white. It's not going to help me, is it? So that's that one. Now this double page I did with yes, Prismacolor very thin pencils. I picked out my favourite sort of purpley, pinky purple, I don't know what colour it was, I can't remember now, and a sort of bluey green, and just because it was small, just sort of blocked it in really, and the edge and the keys are coloured with the very thin silver pencil. Now this one was a jolly big old tutorial series. Everything there was coloured on camera so that you could follow it if you wanted to. A very daunting page, I have to say. I suspect I would have probably left it until one of the last pages had someone not asked me to do it as a tutorial. It sort of forced me to get into it, and actually I you know, once I started, it didn't feel anything like as daunting. Now the way I coloured the cabinets and things, I wasn't so happy with, but as I've done more of those through the book, I've got some better techniques at doing it, so I can show you those as we go. But you know, it's okay, but it could have been better. But then we can say that about every piece of work that we do. Now this page was again a jolly big tutorial series, one item each day. I think this one was my favourite, and this one, oddly, really, you know, and also I really liked how that bag came out. But as I say, each of these is available as a little video, so you can have a look and colour along with me if you want to. And as is this page. Now this page was done with colour cube cards, so there were 4 different cards that I picked out randomly from my box. So I'm working through my box in order, and I just decided which card went best with which picture, and there are videos for each of these. This one was done with pastel pencils. I'm pretty sure I used the Corals pencils. Now this was quite a daunting page for me because it's a sort of, we're looking into the corner, and it's a little bit different to anything that I've really coloured before, but I learnt a lot doing it, and I might do it a bit differently if I did it again, but that's fine. We'd probably say that about many pages, but it was a really interesting learning experience. I think it was a buddy colour as well, so I was sort of forced to do it, which is really good because you sort of do it, learn from it, and next time you do one, you know, it's more fun because you know what you're doing, really. This one was a tutorial as well. I coloured a little section on camera and then did the rest myself off camera, but you can find that one and learn how I did the different bits. Probably, if I hold it a bit flatter, isn't it? This one here, I tried to sort of match a little bit, but this one, I'm not sure what pencils I used. Looking at that purple, I think that's Polychromos. This one I did with my Tombows, and I used the same sort of limited colours with the pinks, blues, purples, but obviously it's a different pencil set, so the shade's a bit different, and there's some silvers in there as well. Again, this was quite a daunting page, and just before I did it I saw an amazing version of it which slightly made it more daunting. I had considered doing some pastel in the background, soft pastels for the sort of wall, but because the silvers are so pale, I thought it would just take up that colour, so I decided to just leave it the white, and because these are so pale I felt that anything I did in the background would actually fade it back, so I felt the white helped it pop off the page a bit better. It's a good excuse, isn't it, for not doing a background. This page was done with Castle Arts, let me try and flatten that for you, Castle Arts pastel pencils. I tried to make the pages match as best I could. I didn't colour them at the same time, which was a little bit of a mistake because I couldn't quite work out what matched what, but I think I almost got there. I didn't do any of the sort of peachy colour that's there on this page, which I've just noticed. But anyway, again, lots of little florals. It can be quite daunting, but if you bunch them up in colours, that really helps, I find. So I found it, you know, that helped me a little. Now this double, excuse me, I'm not sure what pencils I used for this, but again I kept it really I wanted to keep it quite simple. I've seen this done so brilliantly, but for me this was just quite happy. I was quite happy just keeping it with a very limited colour scheme with no background. You know, I just felt that I wanted the colours to pop off the page, and there's so much background that it was just too daunting, so I didn't do one. However, this one I did. I used a colour cube card for this, which had these sorts of caput mortuum type colours in. I'm assuming I might have used Ergos, but I'm not entirely sure, and the oranges and things. It's quite a limited palette. I don't think the orange flowers are particularly pretty, but they go quite well with this. You know, it worked. I just had no idea how to do it, so I grabbed a card to help me. That's what they're for, isn't it? And I put lots of orange dots in the background. I have no idea why. There we go. This one was done with Staedtler pencils. I'm not sure whether it was Design Journey or Ergosofts, and I wanted to do this sort of galaxy background because it's a smaller background. I feel less daunted by it, and so I used a mix of different colours and a blending pencil. I tend to use a white on top, a good quality white like a luminance, not a Staedtler white. Sorry Staedtler, but you need something a little bit better to sort of smudge and fade it. And then the white dots help bring it all together. And yeah, so I did that and then sort of matched in other bits and pieces. I've noticed the pages of the book haven't been coloured in. I don't think they have on, only that one's been missed out. Oops, never mind. There's always something, isn't there? Okay, now this one was a page I was so looking forward to doing. I'd seen so many really pretty versions. I did this with Prisma. I'm not massively experienced in using my Prismas yet, but I was really pleased with how it came out. I kept again to a limited palette just because I love doing mushrooms this colour. So I was just like, that's what I'm going to do. This one, however, was a whole different thing. I used a colour cube card. Now there was a yellow which I used for the dots on the mushrooms, and then this sort of bronzy, I don't know, ochre, I suppose, colour, which was really close, so you can't tell they're actually different colours very well. And then we had the grey stem and the blue background. I wanted to keep it as simple as I could. By colouring them all the same, it was easier. Although there's a repeating pattern through, I felt that I wouldn't have been able to cope with doing each type of mushroom a different colour. It would have just been too difficult for me. So I just kept it really straightforward. Now this page has all sorts of bits and pieces. I'm just looking. I'm pretty sure I've used polychromos, I'm thinking. Yeah, I really... you know, enjoyed doing every little detail actually on this page, and I had considered doing a background, but because there's so much white, again, like in the pages of the book, in the centres of the bottles and the glass and things, and here, I thought if I put a pastel on there, it would just be really difficult to keep away from those bits. So I decided to, in the end, to just leave it white, and it just sort of pops off the page, I think. Now this one, I'm pretty sure, yes, I did with my Pablo pencils. I kept to a very limited palette because I felt quite daunted by this page, but as soon as I started, I was fine. I'm like that with a lot of them. Once I decided that if we keep all the sea creatures in pinks and all the sort of corally bits in purple, all the rocks the same colour, the water the same, you know. I did the water first, I think, and then that got a big chunk done, and then I was happy with, you know, all the details were easier, and a bit of white pen to sort of show the reflection on the glass. Now this one, I know some people really find these, they don't like the repeating pattern, but actually if you don't like doing the same thing over and over, you could do each one differently. But for me, I was in the mood on a day when I just didn't want to think about colour, so I grabbed what I think were Staedtler pencils and just, you know, chilled and coloured, and didn't really worry too much about shading and things like that, and kept it really simple. Now this one, I decided to use a limited palette and do the balloons all the same colour, and now I'm thinking it's a bit boring. I've seen some with really pretty looking different colour balloons, and I think I probably should have done some sort of rainbow colours or something like that with the balloons, but you know, that's fair. The background is a soft pastel with a cloud stencil, just to put a little bit in there, and a little bit of green across the bottom because you know, we wouldn't have clouds right down there. So that was that one. Now this one I did quite early on. This is Staedtler. No, it's polychromos. Sorry. And I just picked out the flowers that look similar and kept them in similar colours. And yellow backgrounds I find quite difficult because there's lots of white in there that I've missed. I can see it now, and I struggle to see it. I think if I put on my magnifying glasses when I did it, I might have found, I didn't have them when I did it, but I might have found them better. But I think it's come out very bold, and I'm really happy with it. Now this one I didn't, now colouring office things, it's not really much fun for me, to be honest. So to make this more interesting here, I picked a colour cube card for each one, a different one obviously. So this one we've obviously got reds and greens and blues, and this one was just sort of pinks, and then this one was just greys. So this one, it looks like the lights are off and it's sort of nighttime. I think it's quite fun, and different colours through. Whereas this one, I just picked a random bunch of colours and just kept each item the same. It was a little bit easier to pick out which items were the same than on the mushroom page because they're so different, if that makes sense. So these two, for example, are the same as each other. It's quite easy to see them. Now this was probably my favourite double page in the whole book. I love colouring fruit. I don't know why. So this one was a video. Well, actually I made it into 3 videos. So there's one video showing you a narrated version of how to do all the fruits in here. Then there's a one without talking where I complete it, and then there's a sped up version of that one as well, so you can have a look at what suits you. This one, there isn't a video, I just did this myself. I think these cherries look a very strange colour. I remember putting down a colour and going, that's wrong, and then putting 2 or 3 on top, and I just couldn't bring it back. It just didn't work, but never mind. But these are both done with polychromos. Now this page was the very first tutorial series I did from this book. Someone asked me to do it, so I did. And then I made this page sort of match, but you can see there's metallic pen on the bottles. But I sort of matched it in. I think they're polychromos. Not sure, not entirely sure. I had some different ideas of doing the bottles with a galaxy background, but when I came round to doing it, I decided that I would use the metallics instead and just make it, because these bottles are all the same, so I sort of thought I would do something similar to sort of tie it in a bit. Now this one was done with Staedtler. I'm thinking probably Design Journey, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I like colouring sort of foodie things, so I I think these could have been a bit better, but that's that. But yeah, that's, and also the flags and the napkins are in blue as well as the background. They don't stand out. They should have been in pink or something. It isn't quite the best, but did this one quite recently. I didn't try and match it with this one. I didn't think it was necessarily supposed to be part of the same shop. Maybe it was, I don't know. So I just kept some of the colours the same to sort of tie it all together a bit. Lots of pinks and purples, as you can see. I'm sort of thinking that's the colour I would want my sweets and cakes to be. No. Now this one, I don't know, remember doing this one. I did it very early on. I'm looking at the pencils, I've got no idea what they were. I did do some sparkly stars. That was good. Now this one was done with Castle Arts pastel pencils, and there is a video for each section, so the whole thing you can colour along with me if you want to, so sort of move around. I think, I can't quite remember. This one I did just recently as well. This was the one that daunted me the most. I really was like, what do I do with this page? So I used Prisma to make my gold and silver. I didn't do all of the page. So in between here, there are little sections which you're supposed to colour in. I thought about this long and hard. I slept on it as well, came back to it and decided no, I was going to leave it, because I was thinking, because it's metallic, I need to do a black background to make it stand out from the page. I couldn't be, that's so daunting to do so much black. My black Posca's nearly run out anyway. And I thought, I don't want to just do those sections that are drawn in black. I would have to do the whole thing. And I just was like, nope, I'm just going to leave it. So that was that, I just left it. My son did say that lock, it needs to be black in there. I was like, yeah, maybe, because it goes nowhere. There's no lock. It's just the air behind it. I was like, good point. But anyway, I can see a bit I missed there. There's always a bit, isn't there? But yeah, so for me, doing it like that simplified it somehow. But right, this is a series which is currently running. The first one's gone out today, day of recording, but there's probably a few would have gone out by the time this video gets out to you. So each one is a video, so you can follow along with that. So you get a sneaky peek today of what that looks like. And the members of the channel have got them all already, actually, in a compilation video. This one, and that's done in polychromos. This is done in polychromos. I wanted to keep this really simple colour-wise. I did some gold on the edges. I'm not too keen on how that gold came out, to be honest, but yeah, that's that. And this sort of kept all the flowers similar colours, and I just didn't know what to do with the dressing table, so I used cream and light yellow glaze, I think, which is something I never normally use, and it was quite interesting to use. It's quite pale. I didn't want it to jump off the page, and I wanted the flowers to stand out because I like flowers. So yeah, but it was an interesting experiment. Not sure I'd choose that colour again. Maybe I would have used a sky blue perhaps next time, but you know, you've got to try. Now these pages I also enjoyed a lot. This page is a set of videos, so each of these items, I think that's a little group there, is a video, so you can follow along. I think Castle Arts I used for this, and also for here. So what I started to learn doing this is how to put a bit of shadow around each little box in the wardrobe to make it look more shady in the corners, and it also helps to bring the items forward. You could probably emphasize it even more than I did, but I was just learning, and I was really happy with how that came out anyway. Yeah, and this dress here, I made it into a wedding dress with like white and sort of sparkles. I really enjoyed that one, so much fun. Now this one I used Staedtler pencils. Again, just a very chilled, relaxed exercise in repetitive colouring. Some people not happy with that, but I just, you know, some days that's what I want to do. Or I might just sit down with a mandala or something and just do it really plainly. I've just noticed I've got a really dirty arm. I've been gardening, so I probably picked it up off somewhere. This one again was a series. I used a colour cube card and did it, I think it was 3 parts, might have been 4 parts with the card. Now doing a grey wood was really out of my comfort zone, but that was what the card gave me, so you know, it sort of stretched me. And also these green things in the bottle, but of course it's green tea in the jars, I mean. So this was also a series. I think it came out at Christmas, and I tried to make them slightly Christmassy looking. I'm not sure how well I did with that, but they're all sort of bright and cheerful anyway. I just thought with the nuts and the satsumas, those are sort of Christmassy things that I associate with Christmas anyway, so that's why I sort of did it then. Also, I've completed 2 copies of Johanna's Christmas, so I didn't have so many Christmassy pictures to do. This one was quite an early one. This is done with Prismacolor. And I wanted to make it look like this was wallpaper, and so we're inside and that's the outside. That's how I wanted to make it look. So but whether it worked or not, it doesn't really matter. I was quite pleased with it anyway. And we have our shower. Now there's a bit of glitter in the water. I can't even see it myself. Don't know if it's showing out, but I used Prismacolor there as well. And these bright leaves I really like, but I think I should have done a few more different colour leaves because it's maybe a bit odd, but you know, it's now this one I really liked. I had a lot of fun doing this one. Now I just kept that bright rainbow theme throughout. I did cheat and copy, see, I've put white in between the lines of the rainbow. I saw quite a few people had done that on their versions, Emily Illustrator for one, and I copied it, but I didn't do it on these. And I just kept those rainbow colours through all these items as well. I just thought it would keep it really bright. And I just used, and it also helped me to choose colour. I thought, well, if I use those 7 colours everywhere, apart, obviously I used wood colour for this. And this one I learnt a lot more about getting the shadow behind here to make the shelves look like they were set back. You know, putting really dark around the edge and then a bit less in the middle, but still making it darker than the shelves that are closer to you. So I was sort of learning about that as I was colouring, or sort of teaching myself, I guess, and thinking about other versions I'd seen. And what I do is I look at someone's picture and I think, what is it that makes that good? What have they done? Let's analyse that little bit. What is it that they've done there? And then I try and replicate that in my own work. This one I was a little bit disappointed in, I have to say. This colour in the background I think is horrible. And I don't know whether behind here really should have been sea coloured. I just no. And I noticed a friend of mine did this page yesterday, and she said, oh, I've only got the things on the plate left, those things. I said, oh, I'd completely forgotten to colour those on my version, which I remembered when she mentioned them because I didn't know what they were. And so I coloured them like buns, you know, cinnamon buns or something. We didn't know what they were. But we assumed they were some sort of food, because I was colouring this page, so it was just over the page. So this page is a video. One of them is done, and obviously they're all the same, so that's a video. This page I almost did as one, and then I just wanted to get lost in it myself, so I just did it on my own. There's a lot of repetition in here. I did all these all differently, except the chocolate sticks, which I did all the same, strangely. Anyway, and then down at the bottom here, because we've got the same jars, the same bottles, all that sort of thing, then I made them the same colours. But I'd give you my little trick. So this jar here, madder probably, and then when I coloured all those, I took that colour and did a few of the sweets. And then when I coloured those, I took that colour and did a few of the sweets. And that, because I find doing things like that really difficult. I don't know why. I'd rather just colour them all the same colour. So I did that, and then we got a bit of a mix in each jar. So that was that one. And that was coloured with polychromos. This was coloured with prismas. It's very rare for me to do a video in prismas. I really like how transparent they look. They almost looks, this colour on this tier, I don't know what colour it is, it almost looks metallic. It's one of the sort of purpley violet-y colours. I don't know how I achieve that, but I like it. Maybe it's just a feature of the pencil. Now this page, again, had no idea what to do with it, so I used a couple of this page here. The outside is done with a Derwent red metallic pencil. I bought one to try them out, and I thought I'll just try out on this page, so that's what I did. The inside I think is done with a Castle Arts metallic, as is this whole page is done with Castle Arts metallic pencils. I tried to use them to, obviously they're shiny in their own right a little bit, but I also tried to create an artificial look of shine by putting some darker and lighter areas in. So it was quite a challenge. And this page I also use metallic pencils. These are 4 videos. Can't remember what pen, these are Castles. Yeah, Castle Arts pencils. So there are 4 videos for these. This page is a video just for this little bit, because I was testing my Brute Funa set of 12 metallic pencils, and I tried them out here. I really liked all the colours. I preferred them to the colours of the castles. And then I finished it off with the same set of pencils. But I liked them so much that I got the 50 set for my birthday, and they're completely different. It's quite funny. I have a review of the 50 set somewhere. Now this page is also done with metallic pencils, I think. Yeah, I used the Castle pencils again. So it was just, I wasn't sure what to do with this. So, you know, I used the metallics. This page was quite daunting to me with all these different items, you know. I was, but actually once I got round to it, it was fine. It was just a matter of doing one at a time and methodically working through the page. I can't identify what pencil set I used. There's quite a big variety of colours. I think it must be polychromos, not Staedtler. Although there's only a couple of, I think it's Staedtler. There's not too many different violets. So. Now we have our cluttered kitchen. Now the border was fine. Florals, loved them, good fun. The centre, I was like, what am I going to do with that muddly mess? I can't, if that was my kitchen, I would go bananas. So I thought if I coloured all the china in the same colour and all the bottles in the same colour, then I would be able to cope with the muddly mess better. So that's what I did. Now this is a series that I've recorded as well, so each one of these a video. It finished yesterday on day of recording this. It's recently finished, so that's available, as I say, one video for each picture. This, I'm trying to think of what pencils, I don't know. Did I use Arteza for this one? Not sure. This is also quite a recent video. Again, I think this is Arteza pencils. I'm not so good at using them, so it's not quite so good. But anyway, it just shows you how to colour each thing, because it's quite a repetitive mandala, of course. This was a set of videos as well. You know, one each day. I've done so many from this book because the small pictures are, you know, really nice to do for a short video. So there are those. You can, and I didn't do them in order because I did them around Halloween. So I did the sort of witch's hat and the cauldron for Halloween, and I think, and then some of the ones later. But that's that one. Now this page again was very daunting to me. What on earth do you do with letters? How do you colour them? So I firstly thought, well, I could colour the background and then leave the letters white. But I decided that the letters would look prettier if I coloured them. So I just chose lots of different colours to colour them in, and did it that way. I think I used Castle Arts for this, looking at it, but I'm not entirely sure. This one is a video. There were several parts. For the sort of top bit and the different things. I didn't colour all of it on camera, I don't think, but I don't really remember. But that one again, what colour do you colour everything? So I did the parcels, I seem to remember, in green gold, and the letters, you know, you can see they're in blue, just to bring it together really. Yeah, I did this one really early on. I'm pretty sure it's polychromos. It's a bit samey with the green, but I tried to do a sort of bokeh style background. Not sure how well it worked in the end, because I used a template to draw the circles and I think they were a bit too round. I'm sounding ridiculous. They were a bit too staged, you know. They should have been a bit more rough maybe, but anyway, I tried, and I learnt something. It's the main thing. This page I found very difficult. This was a buddy colour with someone, and I couldn't remember who it was that asked me to do the buddy colour, and I haven't been in touch with them to show them my picture or to ask them if they've done theirs or anything, and I feel terrible because I looked through my contacts, because I contact people through different things, different social media, and I can't remember, so I'm really sorry. But this one I was just starting to learn about how to make it a bit darker in the corners of the bits of the cabinet. But I did all the gemstones in the same colour and then went over them with a glitter glaze just for fun really. This one, it's very bright. I think these are Arteza because it's so bright, the colours on that page. Yeah, I was a little bit daunted by the page, but as soon as I coloured the shelves, which I did all the shelving first, and then I decided to do all the little boxes the same colour, and then it sort of just started colouring itself really. That's how I get things done so quickly, they just colour themselves. Now this page was again a series of videos. I used colour cube cards, and I picked a card and then picked the most relevant picture to that card and just went through and coloured them all. So you can find those on my channel. This one wasn't though, this was just a fun little buddy colour that I did. I'm pretty sure that's Staedtler pencils. I didn't really do much shading, I just had fun with it really, coloured it in. This was one of my first pictures I did with my Tombow pencils. And I used a lot of the really pale shades. And then I used some really dark shades here, and I've got no idea why I did that, and I feel that I spoilt it really by making those bits dark and nothing else. But again, I learnt something. Now this page, I've never coloured musical instruments. I was a bit scared for a while, and then I did all the gold ones, and then I was happy, and it was quite easy to do the rest really, the sort of wooden ones, but I kept them very limited palette, so all the wooden ones have got the same colour, that sort of thing, which just helped me to find it, to make it easier really. This one I did quite early on. I used to have a phone like this, although it was black, and it just reminded me of that, and it was just, yeah, I mean, it's really teeny weeny details, you can't get a lot of shading in there, but in a way that means it can be quite a relaxing piece where you don't have to really think, you just have to block the colour in. Whereas this one I spent quite a long time. Again, I did it quite early. It really appealed to me as a page. It's got some colour transfer from the other side. But I like geraniums. No one else in my house does, but I do. So it's good to do that. And mixing up these warm browns for the background, I really liked doing that. I don't know why, but I think I used Staedtler. Just looking, not sure. And this one is the key that I did for the video that I told you about, that, you know, people wanted to know how to do the gold, so this was the key I did for that. And then I also coloured in the top hat and the journal and the unicorn, and this was a video actually where I was testing out some pencils. I think it was my new Staedtler Design Journey pencils, maybe the Super Softs, and I just tested them out in a little tiny bit there, and yeah, I tested them out there as well. And then lastly, I continued my glittery key theme on the last page. So there is the book, all completed. So that's really exciting. So I'm all ready for Johanna's new book. So where is it? I've got a few other books that I want to complete now before her new one comes out, so that's fun. And I'm going to be doing, I know I've done lots of videos from here, but I've got some plans to do some more videos from Ivy and possibly World of Flowers as well. So there will be more Johanna Basford videos, but also ones from other books as well. I've got some Rita Berman plans as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day. Please give this a little like if you enjoyed it, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much, and happy colouring.